In This Week in Military History, we explore the devastating Japanese surprise attack that brought the United States into World War II on that day of infamy. Although World War II began in Europe in 1939, the Japanese alliance with Germany and Italy meant that it was an inevitability that fighting would eventually break out in the Pacific. Japanese quite rightly believed that they would lose a protracted war with the European colonial powers and the United States, and resolved to strike first in a fashion that would destroy US strength in the Pacific and allow them time to expand their empire before the Americans could fully respond. Resolving to strike at the US Naval base at Pearl Harbor, the Japanese Navy began to move their ships into position in late November 1941. As American and Japanese relations deteriorated diplomatically, the United States Chief of Naval Operations sent a dispatch to the Commander-in-Chief Pacific Fleet to be prepared for potential aggressive actions from the Japanese. On the morning of 7th of December 1941, that possibility became a reality as wave after wave of Japanese naval bombers and torpedo planes struck at the Pacific Fleet at anchor at Pearl Harbor. Commander Ramsey, United States Navy, witnessed the first aircraft diving on Ford Island and ordered the alarm to be broadcast. Air raid Pearl Harbor, this is no drill, repeat, air raid Pearl Harbor. The Americans scrambled quickly to action in Pearl Harbor's defense, but the damage to men and material was substantial. The US Navy losing 5 battleships, 3 destroyers, a mine layer, and approximately 200 aircraft. By 10 a.m. Hawaiian time, the attack was over. The loss of life was just as horrific and included 2,000 sailors, 109 Marines, 218 soldiers, as well as 68 civilians. 1,000 men died on the USS Arizona alone. Significantly, however, the entire carrier strength of the Pacific Fleet was at sea on exercise and lived to fight another day, altering the success of the attack for Japan, who now faced the United States as an adversary after the US responded with a declaration of war. Join us next time for another segment of This Week in Military History with the Pritzker Military Museum and Library.